Okay, here's question 1 from the supplemental problems. The hypotenuse of a right triangle is 13. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the right triangle. Okay, I know that the hypotenuse is 13. The measurement of the remaining sides can be represented by x and x plus 7. It doesn't matter which one you label where. Okay, find the value of x. How am I going to do that, guys?
Put a 7 on this. Or set it equal to 0.
No, good try. It's okay. You're trying. Pythagorean theorem, right? Remember, across from the 90, that's the guy that goes alone. So you go 13 squared equals the other two sides squared and added. So it'd be x to the second plus, in parentheses, x plus 7 squared. Who says I'm with you? Okay, so now I'm going to flip the sides too. So I have x to the second plus, FOIL that, I get x to the second plus 14x plus 49 equals 13 to the second is 169. Then I'm going to pull that 169 over. So I have 2x to the second plus 14x. The 169 comes over and gives me a negative 120. And don't forget your equals 0. Okay, then I'm going to take out a 2. And I'm left with x to the second plus 7x minus 60. And then the 60 is going to go to a 5 and a 12. 5 and 12 multiply to give me 60 and subtract to give me 7. The biggest is a positive, so it looks like that. So 2 is not 0, so I forget about that. The x plus 12 gives me a negative 12. The x minus 5 gives me a positive 5. Okay, now, does the negative 12 work in this problem? No, because we're talking about the length of a side, so it doesn't work. So it's just going to be x equals 5, like that. If they asked you to find the other sides, then obviously one side would be 5 and the other side would be 12. Okay? Okay, if I do anything you don't understand, let me know. Okay? Say it again. That would be good, yeah. If you didn't write that on your quiz, I took off points, so why not this, right? Okay, question number 4. Let x and x plus 1 be two consecutive integers whose product is 1,122. So product means what, everybody? Multiply. So you're going to go x multiplied by x plus 1 equals 1,122. Find the value of x if x is less than 0. Okay, so distribute the x. So you have x to the second plus x. Move the 1,122 over to the left. Now I could sit and try to factor this thing. It's going to take me forever. So I'm just going to go to quadratic. You know, if you guys can figure out what it is and it's quick, that's great. Quadratic is going to give you the same thing. So I'm just going to go x equals negative 1. Plus or minus the square root of 1 squared is 1. Minus 4 times negative 1,122 all over 2 times 1, which is a 2. I'm so glad that this is happening right now and everybody's watching. You guys, there are people in this room that did not do what I asked. Remember right there, I said lots of people mess up on that. So when you get to that point, I want you to put that yellow stuff in your calculator because so many people miss it. So 1 minus 4 parenthesis negative 1,122. Close it off, enter, and I get x equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 4,489 divided by 2. Now I bet 4,489 is a good number. And it is at 67. So I get negative 1 plus or minus 67 over 2. Now, we've never ran into this together. I'm sure you guys have ran into it on your own before, but that actually is not an acceptable answer. So it's negative 1 plus 67 over 2 and negative 1 minus 67 over 2. So negative 1 plus 67 is 66 over 2, which is 33. Negative 1 minus 67 is a negative 68 over 2, which is a negative 34. But it told you at the beginning they want x to be smaller than 0. So there's your answer right there. X equals negative 34, and I'm done. So basically, these problems on this worksheet, you guys, they're word problems that turn it into a quadratic, and then you have to solve the quadratic, okay? Okay, let's do question number 7. If I do anything right now that you don't understand, please stop me, okay? Okay, here's question number 7. A garden measuring 12 meters by 6 meters is to have a pedestrian pathway equal width installed all the way around it. Okay, so let's draw a picture. Okay, so it looks like this. This is 12, and this is 16. Well, let's reverse it. It's silly to have it. Let's go 16 and 12, just because of the way I drew it. It doesn't matter where you put them. And then you've got this walkway all the way around it that looks like that. Okay. Okay, and then it says the total area of the pathway, including the garden, is 285. And that's going to be meters squared. Find the width of the walkway. Okay, so this distance right here, guys, is W. And this distance right here is W. It's like this width right here, this width right here. Okay, same thing over here. See this right here is a W right there. And this guy's a W right here. So the total distance of that side right there is 16. And then tell me what goes with it, guys. Plus 2W. Good. Okay. And then the other side. Hey, woman. Yeah, I'm busy. Why are you bugging? Sent you what? Oh, that's all I got. Just keep a list. That's all we can do. Okay. Okay, great. Thanks. Bye. Okay, sorry. That's Miss Baird. She's my friend. Okay, so the other side right here is going to be what, everybody? Come on. 12 plus 2W. So if I take the 16 plus 2W and multiply it by the 12 plus 2W, that's supposed to be the total area, which is 285. Okay, so I'm sure you guys can do this from here, but I'll just keep doing it with you. So this is 192 plus 32W plus 24W plus 4W to the second is equal to 285. So now I have 4W to the second plus 56W. Bring your 285 over, and you get negative 93 is equal to 0. And, you know, I think I factored it. I don't know. I'm just going to use quadratic. When it's that ugly, I'm just going to do quadratic. So I'm going to go negative 56 plus or minus the square root of, what's that? No, what's that?
Someone sneezed.
Oh, someone sneezed. Don't say bless you, because you're freaking me out. No, I'm kidding. 3136 minus 4 times negative 93 all over 2 times 4. Okay. Now, do I think they're going to give me a decimal answer on this? I don't. So I'm going to try to just put that big monster right in there. Okay, because it's going to save me some step. So I'm going to go parenthesis negative 56 plus second x squared, 3136 minus 4, parenthesis 4, close it, parenthesis negative 93. How many closes? Close, 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 divided by 8, hit enter, and I got 1.5. It's totally fine. I can go right to that. Now there's another answer, right? So I have to go up, make it a negative, hit enter, and I get negative 15.5. Now, W is a width, so that is obviously not going to work. So this is an invalid solution. So the answer is 1.5, and on this problem it is meters, and that's it. Okay, Question 8, 3 more and then we're done, okay? Then we're gonna look at homework, we're gonna look at quizzes, you can kind of do what you wanna. Okay, the height of a picture is 3/4 of the width, okay? So I'm just gonna go like this. Here's my picture. And then, do you see how it says the height is 3/4 the width? So it's comparing it to the width. So I'm just gonna let my W be a W. And I know that that is not the height, it's the length, but it's okay. I just want a picture that represents it. What does the word of mean in math? Do you know? What does it translate to? Translates to multiply, okay? So if something's 4/3 the width, then this is 4/3 W, okay? It needs to be enlarged, so the area is 192 square meters. What are the dimensions of the enlarged picture? Okay, so to find the area, it's just going to be 4/3 W times the other W, which is W squared, and you want it to be 192. Okay, so how do you get rid of the 4/3? Well, first we can multiply by 3. So then we have 4W to the second equals 576. Divide by 4. W to the second is 144. If you're square rooting, you're supposed to do the plus or minus. Negative width does not make sense, right? So it's going to be 12, and they want the dimensions, and they have inches. So it's going to be 12 inches by, and then the other one, you take the 4/3 and times it by 12, and you get 16 inches. And you can check that so easily, guys, because if you go 12 times 16, you get 192. So I know I did it right. Okay. Who says I feel good about this? This is fine. Okay. 2 more questions, and then I don't want to eat up all your time, but we've got to make sure I've done everything I need to. Okay. You've been instructed. This one I felt like was kind of a little tougher. So you've been instructed to make a square bottom unlidded box. The height is 3. So I'm just going to put H is 3. I could draw the 3-dimensional. I'm a horrible artist, so I'm not going to do it. The volume is 42 inches cubed. You'll be making a flat piece of cardboard and cutting 3-inch squares. And folding up the edges. So here's what the top is going to look like. You're going to go like this, and you're going to cut 3 inches like this. So this is the lid. So it's going to be like that. Okay, and then you're going to fold them down, and that's how you make your lid. What should the dimensions of the original flat piece of cardboard be? Okay, so it's square bottomed. So I'm going to call this side S and that side S. Okay, so to find the volume of a square box, you take those two. So it's easy to understand if you think, I'm just going to take the area of that square, but I have to take it all the way up and down throughout that box. So the volume is going to be S times S, because that gives you your area of the bottom. But then you have to multiply it by the height, which is 3. So the volume is going to be 3 side squared. Yeah, that's right, 3 side squared. Who says I'm with you? Okay, so now that's supposed to be 42. So I'm going to take that 3 side squared and set it equal to 42. So then I divide by 3, and I get side squared is equal to 14. And then I'm going to square root it. And I get S equals plus or minus the square root of 14. And then I would say like negative 4 square root of 14 is invalid. So the side is obviously the square root of 14. But that's not what they're asking me for. They're asking me for how do I make a lid? Well, guys, look. Here's your box right here. Right? Oops, not there. Sorry, I didn't mean to put it there. Here's your box right here, look. Your box is this. Everything outside of that rectangle gets folded down to go on top of it. Who says I understand that? Okay, so, and I know my picture doesn't depict a square, but you get the idea. So this is length square root of 3, oh no, square root of 14, sorry. So that's the square root of 14. So that total side length right there is the square root of 14, but then you've got 3 on that side and 3 on that side, so it's the square root of 14 plus 6. You guys, I'm telling you, you better check and check and check and check and check these problems. Can I check that? I can totally check it, because if I put it right here, I better get 42. So let's do it. Let's do it right now. I want to make sure you guys understand. Everybody go second x squared 14, close it, plus 6, store, enter. And then go membar, enter, x squared, times 3, enter, and I did not get that. Did you get it? Okay, check the answer. Let's see what we have. I've got answer key in here. They gave us a decimal. Yeah, it works. 9.76. Oh. Does anyone see what I did wrong? The side length is the side length of the box. This is the side length of the lid. So the 14 is what's supposed to go in there, not the 14 plus 6. If I confused you, don't worry. Sorry. Anybody that wants to check it that understood. So this is the volume for the box. This is the square root of 14. This is the square root of 14. I accidentally put this guy, which is the side of the lid. Who says I understand what you're saying to me? Okay, so let's check it. If you go second, x squared 14, close it, store, enter, then go 3, membar, enter, x squared, enter, there's my 42. So I just plugged the wrong thing in, okay? Sorry if that confused you. It's nice that we have all the answers right there. Okay, one more question, and we're done. Number 12. I would spend some time going through this worksheet, okay? Suppose the area of a rectangle is 78 square inches. So let's draw our rectangle, and let's say it's 78 inches squared. The length is 1 inch longer than twice the width. Do you guys just see how they're comparing the length to the width? So I'm going to let my W be a W. Now I have to figure out a representation for the length. It's 1 inch longer than twice the width. So twice the width is that. How do you say 1 inch longer? Plus 1. Yep. And now you just want the area. So the area is going to be W times 2W plus 1 is equal to 78. So it's 2W to the second plus W equals 78. 2W to the second plus W minus 78 equals 0. You know, we could sit and try to factor it. I just feel like quadratic's going to be easier. So it's negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 minus 4 times 2 times negative 78 all over 2 times 2, which is a 4. Now, if I end up getting a decimal, then I have to go back and piece it out. I don't think we're going to get a decimal. So I'm going to just take my chances. So I'm going to go parenthesis, negative 1 plus second, x squared, 1 minus 4 parenthesis 2, close it, new parenthesis, negative 78, close it, close it, close it, divided by 4, hit enter, and I got a 6. So it would have factored. So we got W equals 6. Now I'm going to do the negative. Might get another one. This is negative 6.5. This is an invalid solution. And they're asking me for the length and the width. So I'm going to say the width is 6. On this one, I can differentiate which is which. Unlike the notes, they didn't say, you know, compare directly the length and the width. So anyway, if the width is 6, then the length is 2 times 6 plus 1. That gives me 13. It's in inches, and we're done. Okay, that's all I'm going to do with that. So hopefully you're good with that. Okay, now let's pass back. Let's pass back